Greetings, YouTube Pipe community. It's Peter Piper, the True Light, and it is 2025 on a beautiful Thursday evening. Today was a really nice day, great weather. Worked at home today. Construction crews working on the garage and breezeway, coming along really well. Tonight I want to give a shout out to a new subscriber, and it's Buckeye Piper from Ohio. And this young man and I have a lot in common. We were both Navy veterans, and we both went to the Naval Training Center at Great Lakes, Illinois for boot camp. And he's told some pretty funny stories about boot camp, and it inspired me to tell my own story about boot camp at Great Lakes, Illinois. So here we go. Well, had basically the same experience of arriving there late at night. They made us wait at the Chicago O'Hare Airport for, oh God, like 5 hours. We were all these long-haired, hippie-looking guys, 1974, waiting in the some terminal at O'Hare Airport. And I swear it was about 5 hours, and there were like Hare Krishna dudes coming by and trying to sell us books, and yeah, I bought one, and it was a crazy time. After about 5 hours, we all got loaded onto the bus, and the guy, I think it was a sailor, I'm not sure if it was a service week or a regular enlisted guy, told us that we couldn't talk the whole time on the bus trip from O'Hare Airport to boot camp. So we didn't, and we got there, and they made us march out of step to I guess it was a barracks, and where we all like sacked out for about a couple hours, and then we were rudely awakened the next morning and went to the chow hall and got chow. Kind of funny. Anyway, the next day, we met what is called our company commander, which was either a chief or an E6 first class petty officer. And I remember the fella's name. He was a first class electrician's mate, and his last name was Oliver. And he was like this gung-ho military guy that had served first in the Army, and when his Army enlistment was complete, he actually had paratrooper wings on his Navy uniform, which was interesting. And he said he liked the Navy better than the Army, and he was a tough guy. Anyway, we all marched at some point the next day to this supply warehouse where we were all issued our uniforms, and which consisted of basically your Navy fatigues, and I remember you got my pea coat and a watch cap, and you got all your underwear. I remember distinctly we got 6 pairs of boxer shorts, white boxer shorts, crew neck t-shirts, and of course socks and everything like that. And then when we got back to our barracks, we had to lay all that stuff out on the floor or on our bunks, and then they issued us stencils with our name, like your first 2 initials, your last name, and then your social security number underneath that. Now, I don't know if they would ever do that today, given, privacy regulations and everything like that. But everything I ever owned in the Navy is stenciled with my Social Security number on it. Um, and it was on your shorts, on your T-shirt, everything. So they're very rigorous about making your bed with special hospital corners. Had to be perfect. Blanket folded a certain way, and all your underwear, T-shirts, and everything like that had to go into your locker, which was an open locker. It didn't. You had one drawer with a padlock on it, a combination lock, where you could put your wallet and all your valuables, your rings, your watch, and everything like that in, and lock that up. But the other stuff was like open, um, without a door. It was just like a bookshelf, basically. Anyway, you had to fold your underwear perfectly, and it had to be there. And while you were out doing training or whatever like that went on, people would come in and they would inspect your locker, and they'd tear it all apart and throw it all over the place. And you'd get written up or something like that. You had a little chit that you had to keep in your pocket. And if you got written up on that shit, you had to show it to your company commander, and you'd have to do 1,000,000 push-ups or something. Anyway, some guys were very good at keeping their lockers squared away, Navy style. Other guys were total F-ups, and you just couldn't work with them. Well, there was this one guy in particular, and I remember he had the nickname Tex, because I think he was from Texas, and he was like, he had this like skinhead haircut, and it was red, and my God, this guy was dumber than a box of rocks. So anyway, got to do a real light. Excuse me. Anyway, while we were out training or something like that, somebody came in and they inspected the lockers, and well, old Tex, I believe the way it was you had to have 4 pairs of underwear perfectly folded in your locker, 4 T-shirts, 4 pairs of boxer shorts, folded perfectly. And I'm sure that they would even go in there with a ruler and measure how far they were from the edge of the locker, and you could get written up for that, I guess. Anyway, old Tex, he actually wore his underwear and folded it up and put it in there. And some guys don't have the best hygiene. I don't know, when they go to do their business in the bathroom, whether they don't know how to wipe properly. Let's just say his boxer shorts, which were folded up in his locker, weren't perfectly white. Okay? As a matter of fact, somebody came through and they were inspecting the lockers, and they pulled out his boxer shorts, unfolded them, and lo and behold, there was a big brown shit stain right in the middle of those shorts, don't you know? So I think it was the CC that was doing the inspection too, because he called Tex up into the company commander's office. Now, the layout of the barracks in boot camp is, it's like a long rectangular room with bunks lining the edge of the walls with windows and everything like that. And the company commander's office is like up in the corner, and he's got a big glass window. And in there, he's got his desk and everything like that. and there's a big glass window where he can look out and see what's going on in the barracks. So he called Tex up into his office, and he said, and he had the briefs, not the briefs, the boxer shorts, laying on the floor there, and he says, pick those up. And so Tex picked them up, and he goes, I want you to put those in your mouth and chew them until they're clean. And Tex got all upset, and he started crying, and, oh, sir, I didn't come into the Navy to eat shit. And he says, okay, lay down on the floor. And Tex laid down on the floor, flat on his back, and goes, put your arms and legs up in the air. And he did that. He put his arms and legs up in the air. And he goes, now shake them. Shake them. And he goes, and Tex, he was shaking his arms and legs. And he says, you're a bug. You're a bug. You're no good. Now stand up. So Tex stood up. And the CC took those shorts and said, I want you to put them over your head and stand in front of the glass window here. And he actually went over and arranged the boxer shorts over Tex's head so that the shit stain was perfectly visible to everybody for Tex standing in front of the window. So Tex was basically on display in the barracks, and everybody could go up and look and laugh at him and knock on the window and, man, you're a fuck up. You sure are stupid, And so that was that. And guys like Tex didn't last very long. They usually got written up and sent to Delta or Happy Hour, which was a disciplinary measure that took place where they just work your ass out until you can't stand up. And he got sent to Delta, which meant he got set back from our company. He had to go into a later company, which was, behind us. And anyway, we'd be marching along in the grinder outside with our fake rifles and stuff. And we'd see Tex and say, hey, Tex, how you doing, man? And he'd always have the same reply. I'm going home tomorrow. We'd always say that. And I think like 5 weeks later or something like that, we'd see him again. Same thing. I'm going home tomorrow. Meaning that he was so screwed up that he was getting kicked out of the Navy. And he was getting, whatever, a general discharge. And he was, that was it for Tex. We never saw him again. But anyway, that's the story about Tex. That's my boot camp story. And it's one of those things, the Navy was an experience where I hated every minute of it, but man, it was the greatest experience I ever had in my youth. It was like that transition where, you go from boy to man, and it's a great way to enter adulthood, because even though you think that this is bullshit and this is crazy and what did I get myself into, it's a good deal. I recommend it to any young man that doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, because that was my situation. It was very immature, and it worked out well for me. And I've been to several reunions for my ship, and I think there's one. The ship I was on was a 1052 Knox class frigate, and we started doing reunions and I was on that boat from 1974 to 1976, and we've been doing reunions now since 2004, and I've been to two of them, and I'm really anxious to go to the next one this year. We always meet in Virginia Beach at a hotel, and we have basically an open bar and start partaking with sinful activity about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it just goes on and on and on. And it's usually a 4 or 5 day event. Virginia Beach on the waterfront. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. So that's it. Gonna post this tonight, and wish you guys all the best. Take care. Speak the truth and seek the light. This is Peter Piper signing off.